Americans, we have too many freedoms.
That is another thing you must remember, comrade. For one day it will be your mission to destroy those bourgeois capitalist freedoms.
What you have seen is not entirely fiction. Greater brutality is taking place right now in countries which have been swallowed up by the communist machine. The bright hopes of a free world are founded on the dedication of individual Americans. People who guarantee freedom by standing ready to fight against aggression, against the communist attempts at world enslavement.
Cold War paranoia in the early 50s, fed by global events and McCarthy's Red Scare tactics, led Americans to believe that the communists had developed techniques to turn people into human robots.
That concern directly led the CIA hierarchy to authorize a wide-ranging program of human experimentation called MKUltra that involved LSD tests, intensive electroshock experiments, brainwashing experiments.
The goal of the MKUltra program was to create functional psychological weapons to counter and surpass those developed by the communists. Among other things, their research explored creating the ultimate truth serum, secret agents to act as subliminal couriers, and programmed assassins. As mind control research progressed, the intelligence community was suddenly rocked to its foundation by the discovery of a powerful, new, mind-altering substance.
The thing that really began to come into the picture at this time was the discovery of LSD.
As the CIA's chief psychologist, John Gittinger was responsible for the evaluation of the operational effectiveness of the MKUltra research.
This resulted in eventually there being a considerable effort of doing research on LSD because this was a completely unknown drug, one which produced results that were completely unpredictable.
I'm feeling perfectly fit at the moment and as sane as I ever am, and I'll take the drug now.
The discovery of LSD resulted in many people exploring hallucinogenic drugs for the experience alone. This interest extended even to members of the British Parliament.
I am moving at this moment from one time into another time and back again. And I'm not so conscious, Humphrey, of removing myself in space. But I'm extremely conscious of moving in time.
While the rest of the world made its innocent forays into the realm of psychedelia, sections of the medical community vigorously embraced LSD as the new wonder drug. They were joined by intelligence agents who began testing possible uses for the drug among themselves.
All the original acid heads in North America were actually the psychiatrists and the spies. And there's lots of descriptions in the publications I have of psychiatrists talking about their own LSD trips in the 1950s.
I only had it once, and I would never do it again. The first thing that began to happen to me is that the room completely narrowed, and bright lights and all kinds of things. And I suddenly had the feeling like I was running at full speed even though I was sitting still. Very unpleasant experience, lasted about a day and a half.
As the CIA continued testing among its own scientists, the U.S. military also became interested in potential uses for LSD, going even so far as to test the drug on American servicemen.
After receiving a small dose of LSD, they're confused and undisciplined.
The point of all of this was to have weapons that didn't harm. If you wanted to win a war, you could drop a nuclear bomb on a city and that would do it. But it would be better to save lives by disorienting a population. So weapons that didn't harm or kill, such as putting LSD into a water supply, were considered to be more humane.
The odorless, colorless drug appeared to be the ultimate mind control weapon. It was embraced as an operational tool that no spy could be without. Among the many applications considered for the drug was the possibility of using it on communist leaders such as Castro, in the hopes that he might discredit himself in public.
The Soviet intelligence was aware of experiments conducted by the United States Central Intelligence Agency, prompting us to report to our superiors in the party apparatus that we need money to do the same, because how could we allow the United States to be ahead of us in any type of military applied research?
There had been reports that came into the CIA that there was literally a mountain of LSD that the Soviets had access to, and it was going to be sold on the open market, and who was going to buy it, and what was it going to do if someone evil got control over it. And so then the stakes got higher. What about unwitting subjects? Because that was the nightmare, that American diplomats, American spies, American politicians were going to be subject to this. And then the course sort of went downhill.
Mind Control will continue.